Top 10 Most Dangerous Prison Inmates. There are people in the world that are so creepy and dangerous that just hearing their names makes you get the chills. Thank God that these people are locked up in maximum security, because no one knows what kind of world we would be living in if they are still out in freedom. Let's see who these people are and why they're considered as one of the most dangerous prison inmates in the world. Number 10. Ramsay Yusef. The man is a dangerous terrorist. Though his plans failed, he was the man behind the 1993 attack on the World Trade Center. The plan was to have a bomb go off in the Northern Tower by moving it there with a truck and having the North Tower destroy the South Tower. Luckily, the 1,336-pound urea nitrate hydrogen gas bomb did not have the expected full effect. However, it still killed 6 individuals and wounded thousands of others. He was also behind the Philippine Airlines bombing of Flight 343. Yusef, now 44, knows he will never go free. In a 7x11-foot cell without bars and a small high window, far from other prisoners, prison guards, and the world outside the fortress deep in the Colorado Rockies, he is serving life without parole plus 240 years. It has been said that his desire was to topple one tower into the other and cause a total of 250,000 civilian deaths. Number 9. Michael Ratkin. After pleading guilty in August 2008 to having a sexual relationship with a female prisoner, Michael E. Ratkin, 40, a former federal correctional officer in Connecticut, arrived in Coleman as an inmate, then plotted with his inmate girlfriend to kill his wife. 10 months later, according to court documents, Ratkin solicited the help of fellow inmates to find someone on the outside to kill his ex-wife, her new boyfriend, his former inmate paramour, and a federal investigator. Surprisingly, the inmates told the authorities. He also made extensive lists to the inmates explaining just who he wants dead. The authorities had arranged for the prisoners to capture him. They gave him the details of a fake hitman, and they made him pass the money to Michael. Michael was therefore sentenced to 90 years in jail. Number 8. Eric Rudolph. In August 2005, Rudolph was sentenced to life in prison without parole for setting off a bomb in a park at the 1996 Olympics in Atlanta that killed 1 person and injured 111 others, and also for setting off 2 other bombs in 1997 that injured 11. And why was that? This was in protest against abortions being allowed in America. He made a statement in relation to his attack that said, "Abortion is murder." And when the regime in Washington legalized, sanctioned, and legitimized this practice, they forfeited their legitimacy and moral authority to govern. For 5 years, he went into hiding. He was living off of the food he caught from people's bins and bugs and plants in the woods of the Appalachians. When he was digging through the garbage in North Carolina, they finally found him. He was arrested and moved to ADX jail. Number 7. Ted Kayezinski. This man was a genius, but he had a distrust against technology and government. He went and lived in solitude after leaving his training as a university professor, living off of homegrown vegetables and rabbits. He made his first bomb and sent it over to a professor of Northwest University after working and getting fired from a factory he worked in with his brother. This went off on a security officer and didn't seriously hurt him. The next year, he sent in another bomb. He also sent one to an American Airlines flight that failed to depart, and another to the airline president that did only minor damage. Investigations went on to find out who was liable. He sent several other bombs over time that caused a few deaths. He then wrote a huge letter to media outlets about today's issues with modern society, and if they did not publish it, he threatened to bomb a plane. In the written report, his brother recognized Ted's handwriting and ultimately led the authorities to him. He's spending the remainder of his life in jail, now at the Colorado U.S. Penitentiary Administrative Maximum Facility. Number 6. Terry Nichols. Nichols is the man who helped Pendleton native Timothy McVeigh build the bomb that killed 168 people in Oklahoma City. Not too long after the attack, Terry Nichols turned himself into the authorities and was sentenced to life imprisonment, while his friend Timothy McVeigh was arrested and sentenced to death. In reality, He set a Guinness World Record for the number of life sentences he has been charged with. He was charged with 161 life sentences in the ADX jail. Number 5. Robert Hansen. Robert Hansen is a former FBI agent who sold highly classified information to Russian intelligence agents before he was finally arrested in 2001. His case is considered one of the America's biggest intelligence failures, as Hansen, the most sensitive part of the FBI charged with monitoring foreign agents, served as a mole inside the counterintelligence division of the Bureau. For a period of 22 years, he managed to keep this up and made over $1.4 million and was compensated in diamonds for his spying as well. In July 2001, he was charged with 15 life sentences and sent to jail. He is at the ADX in Florence as well. Number 4. Michael Swango. Joseph Michael Swango is a serial killer who, as a trusted doctor, has easy access to his victims. Authorities believe he murdered up to 60 people and poisoned countless others, including co-workers, friends, and his wife. From the age of 3, Swango showed an unusual interest in violent deaths. As he got older, he became fixated on stories about the Holocaust, partially those who contained pictures of the death camps. His interest was so strong that he began to keep a scrapbook of pictures and articles about fatal car wrecks and macabre crimes. He only admitted to killing 4 people, but he is linked to numerous other deaths in multiple hospitals over the course of 20 years. He was caught out when a nurse found a deteriorating patient right after something was inserted into the IV of the patient by Michael. He was also accused of manipulating his records of jobs to conceal the fact that in the 80s, he poisoned his co-workers with arsenic and spent time in jail. Number 3. Zakarias Mustawi. Zakarias is a terrorist from France suspected of being part of the attacks of 11 September. He freely confessed to multiple charges in court. He said that he was not involved in the main attack on the 11th of September, but had a great plan of terrorist destruction of his own. Zakarias is a terrorist from France, suspected of being part of the attacks of 11 September. He freely confessed to multiple charges in court. He said that he was not involved in the main assault on the 11th of September, but had a major plan to kill his own terrorists. This statement was not taken seriously and was attributed to the main attacks on the 11th of September. He later agreed to all of the charges brought against him. People thought that even in the trial, by using himself as his own lawyer and requesting Al-Qaeda prisoners to witness his proceedings, he showed great contempt for the U.S. Number 2. Matthew F. Hale. An admitted racist since the age of 12, Matt Hale became one of the most effective and best-known leaders of the far right after he became head of the World Church of the Creator, as it was then known in 1996. Under Hale's PR-savvy guidance, the group regularly gained publicity for its activities and for the violent incidents associated with its members. This group believes that the white race are the creators of all worthwhile civilization. The church believes that a racial holy war is necessary to attain a white world without Jews and non-whites. To this end, it encourages its members to populate the lands of this earth with white people exclusively. He assumed that he was the highest priest. He was originally an attorney, but because of his gross racism, he was barred from practicing law. He ended with a 40-year prison sentence for planning an FBI's agent's murder of Judge John Lefkoe. Number 1. Vincent John Basquiano. Basquiano is nicknamed Vinnie Gorgeous due to owning a Bronx beauty salon called Hello Gorgeous, and for his fastidious grooming, hairstyle, and looks. In 2011, reporters noted that despite being imprisoned in solitary confinement for past 4 years, Basquiano still looked perfectly groomed in the courtroom. He was an illegitimate gambler and accused of a murder attempt. He did not end up being convicted of this because of the jury. Instead, after being accused of murdering Santoro, he ended up with a life sentence in jail. Santoro had initially attempted to abduct his son in Vincent's defense. Even if he walked out of this one somehow, he was also accused of planning Randolph Pizzolo's murder, making him eligible for a life term in jail again.